Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Let's get in some front page news. Good morning, Tiz.
Good morning, Charlamagne. I was going to say, now I'm getting off like Charlamagne, trying to get my groove back. Good morning, DJ Envy and Charlamagne the Guy.
Peace, Tez.
Good morning. Let's jump right into it. Let's start off with sports quickly. Now, Miami Heat coach, he signs a record 8-year, $120 million extension. That's the largest contract in NBA history in terms of total value for a coach. So congratulations to him and the Titans fire head coach, Mike Vrabel. That's his name, right? Mike Vrabel? Yeah. All right, well, let's jump right into it. Let's talk about these journalists caught on a hot mic.
Journalists were caught on a hot mic talking about Trump being assassinated like JFK. Let's take a listen.
I mean, if he's driving, we've got a good shot.
Yeah, if he's driving with the front window open.
Yeah, or if it's a convertible.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking about that.
Yeah. Like if he just pulls up by
like JFK. It's like a JFK, a Lincoln. No, a president. Oh. Maybe someone, just like they told JFK, you know what you should do? You should take a convertible. It's so nice out.
Oh, trust me, a lot of them feel like that about Trump. You know, elected officials, journalists, they want him out of here. But that's also the kind of rhetoric that definitely, makes his fan base rally behind him. But, as crazy as that sounds, that's not as crazy as Trump's lawyers arguing that a president can order a SEAL Team 6 to assassinate his political rival if Congress is cool with it. Y'all heard Trump's lawyers say that? Like Trump's lawyers said a president couldn't be prosecuted over an assassination if Congress were okay with it. So,
Right. And that's another thing that we're talking about today. As that hearing continues, Trump was in court, as you mentioned. He was facing the appeals court to talk about if he's immune to his activities regarding the January 6th. And so, Charlamagne, you're right on that. And then, Envy, you and I were talking about how Donald Trump is planning to deliver his own closing arguments. And this goes back to, Charlamagne, when you said this is going to be the best entertainment.
Man,
going back to the Nino Brown.
We're about to see things this year that we have never seen before in American politics. and it's like all of these new normals call for new strategies, man. But the only person that seems to have new strategies is the person that they're trying to get the hell up out of here, and that's Donald Trump. And his strategy is destruction. The
fact that he said he wants to speak after his lawyers. His lawyer's going to give a closing remarks, and then he wants to do a closing argument after that.
He got to let everybody know, if I go down, I'm taking all you bitches with me.
Jesus.
Stop acting like y'all don't know who this is. Nino Brown, Donald Orange. Y'all know how it goes.
What time this happened? I need to see this. What time this is going down?
Well, we'll see. Well, we don't know the exact time, but we do know that it'll be today in court. So we'll bring it to you tomorrow. We'll bring that live, whatever he says. Hopefully we can get some audio from it and air it tomorrow. But I think we kind of predict, that he's definitely will be putting on the show for sure. And Charlamagne, you're right. This is a year that we need more, discussion around what's happening. So congratulations on that network again, and to the good sister Angela Rye and Tiffany Cross and Andrew Gilliam. Be able to, unpack these things in a larger form because it's absolutely necessary.
Thank you.
All right, and we're going to talk to them tomorrow as well, right?
Yep.
Oh,
that's right. All right, now, thank you, Tez. What we doing next hour?
Next hour, we're going to talk about 2,000 migrants that had to be sheltered in a high school, and the high school students have to go to school virtually. So really good topic coming up in the next hour.
All right. Now get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open. Again, 800-585-1051. Call us up right now. Get it off your chest. Maybe you had bad weather wherever you're at. Maybe it was a rainstorm, tornado, or maybe your favorite team won, or maybe you're just having a great morning. Whatever it may be. 800-585-1051. Call us up right now. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Hey, Tiz.
Good morning, DJ Envy, Charlamagne the Guy.
Peace, Tez.
Now let's jump right into it. Let's talk about these New York City high school students forced to do remote learning.
Yeah, remote learning because 2,000 migrants were sheltered in their high school. Let's listen to CBS for the report.
Nearly 2,000 migrants from a controversial city shelter at Brooklyn's Floyd Bennett Field over safety concerns and the incoming storm. CBS 2's Zinnia Maldonado is live in Midwood to explain what's happening.
Well, Christine, we're stationed here outside of migrants in what could be a danger zone. Nearly 2,000 migrants are set to relocate Tuesday from the Floyd Bennett Field shelter to here, the James Madison High School in Midwood. Students were dismissed at their regular time Tuesday afternoon. One teacher we spoke with tells CBS 2 staff received an email in the morning stating that migrants were set to arrive around 5 p.m. and will be placed inside the school's gym.
Just a storm coming, and migrants will be coming to the site, take important stuff home.
New York City Emergency Management Commissioner Zach Iskol says the evacuation of about 500 families will be staggered Tuesday as migrants return to Floyd Bennett Field throughout the evening.
We do not anticipate significant impact to the tents tonight, but the safety of the people in our care is of paramount importance, and we're not going to take risks.
Now, New York City Mayor Eric Adams said he's been asking for help since last year, and he's calling for a federal declaration of emergency. Take a listen to that.
New York City Mayor Eric Adams says he has not gotten any FaceTime with President Joe Biden about the migrant crisis since early last year. Now Adams and other sanctuary city mayors are forming a coalition pleading for financial and legislative assistance.
As temperatures drop in New York City, Chicago, Denver, and other impacted cities, we are calling for the federal declaration of emergency, financial support, and a national resettlement strategy.
Today, the Democratic mayors of New York, Chicago, and Denver held a virtual meeting to discuss how they're trying to handle the influx of thousands of migrants as record numbers cross the southern border and head for their cities.
Now, Adams said that over 160,000 migrants have surged into the sanctuary cities since the middle of 2022, some of whom who have been bused directly from Texas. Let's take a listen real quick to what Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson had to say.
As buses continue to arrive in the city of Chicago and all over the country, the type of chaos that has been administered has left many of our local economies under a tremendous amount of duress.
Governor Greg Abbott's office telling us, in part, his state will continue busing migrants to sanctuary cities until, quote, President Biden steps up and does his job to secure the border.
Mm-hmm. So what they doing? They're sending all the high school kids to another school? Let me get that straight.
No, remote learning. They got to do it from the crib.
So they got to do it from home.
They got to do it from home.
Yep.
Now, see, when I hear stories like that, it makes you say, build the wall. When I hear stories like that, it makes you say America first. That's why that rhetoric that somebody like a Trump spews or other Republicans spews, that's why it's effective. Because why do these kids have to be inconvenienced because of the migrants? Yeah. Middle of the school year, you just going to tell the kids, stay home? No, find someplace else for the migrants. How is that okay?
I was going to say that too. I was like, out of every place we could put the migrants, it has to be in schools. There's not any place else we could put them. And no disrespect, but they find money for everything else. We can't find money for motels, hotels, to rent gyms, gymnasiums, the Jacob Javits Center and all these big buildings. They find money for everything else, but you're going to take these kids out of school. And no disrespect, I think any parent knows that when you have to do remote learning, kids don't really focus on remote learning. They not focused.
And yo, what if I can't stay home with my child? What if I can't afford a babysitter? What if I don't have a relative that can stay with my child? How are you just disrupting me in my life for these migrants? How is that okay? And listen, I'm all for assisting any human that needs assistance, but not at the sake of disrupting my kids' learning and disrupting my life. And that's my taxpayer dollars that pay for the school.
Correct.
I want my kids in that school, not the migrants. I don't know how that's okay, yo.
Yeah, and heavy emphasis on they found this out day of. So this wasn't, obviously because of the weather, all of a sudden, but this was like a day of, hey, guys, go learn remote.
So what if I got to go to work? I'm already getting my ass kicked, barely can pay my bills, barely can keep food on the table. Inflation is high. I have to be at work. What if I can't go to work because now I got to have my child at home to learn because y'all putting some migrants in the school? How does any elected official or anybody think that's okay? Like how? And you wonder why the rhetoric of build the wall and America first works for a lot of people. It's because of stuff like this.
And the thing is, like they said, Biden has to do something. We've been talking about this. This hasn't been the first week we discussed this. This hasn't been the first month. We've been talking about this for months. We've been seeing this issue and this problem, and there's no resolution.
Eric Adams, you can't think that's okay, yo. Eric Adams, there's nobody that should be co-signing on this, yo. You gonna let the kids stay at home and do remote learning to put 2,000 migrants into a high school?
Well,
Come on,
and
man.
when you make the point, you're saying, you've been talking about this. I mean, that's what Governor Abbott's, his response is in Texas, saying that Texas has been talking about this forever.
Right.
Republicans have been talking about this forever. So now that the Democrat mayors in Chicago, in New York now have to deal with the problem, what they say, stand on business. Governor Abbott said he's going to continue to keep sending migrants to New York and Chicago until they figure it out. Now that it has to be a problem they have to deal with, now they're saying this is what Texas has always been talking about. So, again, I know some folks are going to say that's racist and, folks are not being sympathetic, but what they're trying to do is force the conversation to deal with immigration. And Charlamagne, you're right, because it is such a hot topic right now. We talked about this yesterday. That's what Trump keeps talking about over and over and over, immigration. And so when you see this happens, see this type of stuff happen, it plays right into his point, whether you agree with Trump or not.
Yes, that's right. And we always think about sympathy when it comes to the migrants. And like I said, I'm all for assisting any human that needs assistance. But why not have sympathy for the parents that are now inconvenienced because of this situation? Their kids have to stay home, high school or not. They have to stay home and do remote learning while their school is being, while migrants are sheltering in their school. I don't know how anybody can think that's okay. And what about the teachers? What do the teachers do?
I guess go home.
Are they going to teach from their crib? Like, they have chalkboards in their crib? And
that's not what I want my
crib?
taxpayer dollars going to.
Yeah, again, and they have to figure this out all of a sudden. So they're figuring it out. It's kind of as you go. Like, literally this happened yesterday. So today it's like, hey, just figure it out. I guess log on now because, obviously Corona is not too far, so I'm sure they had some strategies in place since they had to do it, with the pandemic. But point is, you just wake up and say, hey, tomorrow you're not going to school. You're going to learn from home. It's an issue, but Mayor Adams has been asking for help. The clip said that he's been begging Joe Biden for help and he can't get his ear on this at all. He's been ignored, according to Mayor Adams.
Well, Eric Adams was also one of those people that was very welcoming. He was saying this is a sanctuary city, and he was welcoming the migrants here. And well, you got what you asked for, Mayor Adams.
Yeah, it's different when that welcome actually gets taken up. That offer gets taken up.
Mm-hmm. Now, what would happen if they just dropped the migrants just in front of the White House? Just started dropping them in front of the White House in loads.
They've done that. Haven't they?
Yeah, they did. They did that at the vice president.
But
they already did.
It seemed like they stopped. They just it was just like one busload or two busloads. Let's imagine if they just get busloads every day. Then he would really have to do something because it would be on his lawn, literally, right?
Well, yeah, but I think, that's true. But I think the strategy of making these mayors have to talk about it in Chicago, in New York, and them having to really, push the issue, I think that's also very strategic as well, because now you're getting other mayors and other elected officials get involved to put that pressure. And what they're basically trying to do, let's just call it for what it is. They're basically, wanting Democrat mayors to have to admit that there is a problem with immigration. And this is a strategy, whether people like it or not, is actually effective because it's making them talk about it and, and have to deal with it face on, which is probably a little bit more strategic than just the White House.
We should be ashamed of ourselves as a country. New York City should be ashamed of itself that they're displacing, well, not displacing, but making a bunch of high school kids do remote learning because they want to shelter 2,000 migrants. Once again, I'm all for assisting people that need assistance, but not at the disruption, not at the sake of disrupting my kids' learning. And once again, that's my taxpayer dollars that pay for that school.
That's right.
What if I'm a parent that don't want that? Like, it's just insane to me.
All right. Well, that is front page news. Thank you, Tez.
Absolutely.
All right, now
and make sure you follow Tesla and Figaro on all social media platforms and subscribe to @Tesla and Figaro's podcast, the Straight Shot No Chaser podcast on the Black Effect iHeartRadio podcast network.
That's right. And when we come back, James Samuel will be joining us. He's the writer and director and composer of the new movie, The Book of Clarence, and we're going to talk to him about all that when we come back. So don't move. You don't want to miss it. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.